This is Chris Jenkins of CharlotteVibe.com, and the Carolina Panthers have concluded their 2016 season, and it was not the season that you expected to have. Certainly not after we went 15-1 into the Super Bowl last year, but the season is over, and we are now 6-10, following a loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday, in which we fell 16-17. Now that game, Coach Rivera decided to go for the 2-point conversion at the end of the game, which I can't fault him for. This game, even though you want to play it to win, the season is over. There's no playoff chances, so you don't want to keep these guys on the field any longer than you have to. So unfortunately lost that game and finished the season again 6-10. So where do you go from here after going to 6-10, or what actually happened this season with us falling to that kind of record? I said it earlier in the season, and now that the season has concluded, I can say with confidence, I feel like the teams this year really figured us out from last year. It started with Denver and the Super Bowl, Denver in that first game of the season, and then it just seemed like everyone knew what we were doing, and we simply just could not make those adjustments. Now, you look at the season after the bye week, and at that point, the team pretty much went 500 for the rest of the way. It's kind of like during that bye week, you feel like the team, the coaches had a chance to get together and figure out some things that went wrong, but it was a little too late to get things corrected and to make a playoff run. And then you also look at season in review, look at the number of injuries that we had. It's like, okay, first part of the season, teams had our numbers. We made adjustments after the bye week. But then the injury bug just really started eating this team alive, with most notably the injury to Michael Orr, who had the concussion. It's not known whether he's going to retire or if he's going to come back for next season. You also have Ryan Khalil, center, who went out with an injury. He tried to play through that, and even going out to the West Coast trip, he just couldn't make it through that shoulder injury that he had. Trey Turner had to come from his position and try to play something where you thought, how is this offensive line going to work? We're down to our third string center and all these other guys moving around. But actually, the offensive line came together pretty well, and I thought they played pretty solid the remaining part of the season. And you just have to hope that, we have the draft coming up in April to see what this team is going to do. Other things, looking at this season in review, Cam Newton had his worst season since being a rookie. And you really don't know what that's about for Cam, but my guess on Cam Newton's season, the 2016 season, if you recall, earlier in his career, he had the problem where he put the towel over his face and he sit on the sidelines kind of just looking really dejected, and people got on him a lot about that. Cam got his behavior, at least his body language, adjusted, but I don't think this guy really got used to losing. In college and high school, this guy was a winner, very rarely losing as many games as he's been losing in his pro career. You just look at the way he played yesterday against Tampa. He just seemed like he was just a hair off in things that he was doing with his mechanics, throwing off his back foot, just almost looking a little lazy. But it's two different Cam Newtons that you'll see when the team's winning and when the team's losing. And I think that's something that he needs to get fixed this offseason, is just work on his mental preparation, his game day execution when the team's not doing so well, and being able to pull it through. Excuse me, it's a little cold out here. I forgot my jacket, but I'm going to do this report for you guys. Now, the big question after such an unsuccessful season is coaching changes. And Rivera talked about that last week, saying, hey, we got pretty much everybody that we have from going 15-1, so I don't feel like there's a big need to make sweeping changes just because now we went 6-10. You think some of those changes may be led from Coach Gettleman, and he's shown that he's not afraid to make changes on a player's side. So this will actually be our first chance to see if Gettleman is not afraid to make changes in the coaching side as well. Now, the biggest coach that you're going to think about will be offensive coordinator Mike Shula. And I've been saying I don't know that we're going to have a change with Shula. I feel like if somebody comes available, then by all means go for that guy. But if things just stay par for the course as they are now, I think Shula, he's worth keeping. He's not a bad coordinator, but he's just not a good coordinator making adjustments. So I would hope that Coach Shula, if he stays around, is able to do some things where he learns to make adjustments at halftime to when teams have figured out what we're doing. I think that's his biggest weak point. He gets past that, I feel like we're pretty good to go with him. The other big thing will be free agents, and we have quite the list of free agents. I'm going to run through them real quickly for you guys. Charles Johnson, Mike Remmers, Ted Ginn, Merritt Addison, Kawan Short, Colin Jones, Teddy Williams, Michael Griffin, Ryan Wendell, Chris Scott, Kyle Love, Leonard Johnson, Ben Jacobs, and A.J. Klein. So Dave Gettleman, no doubt, likes what he calls hog mollies and big guys up front. So that leads you to saying Charles Johnson, Kawan Short, and Mario Addison. Will these guys be back? Now, there's no doubt that all these guys want to be back. This is definitely a locker room culture that guys love to play in no matter what. And Charles Johnson saying, hey, if I had to lose with some guys, I'd rather lose with these guys than any other bunch. But you just have to see what's going to happen. I know the draft pick for the Carolina Panthers is now established. We're going to have the 8th round draft pick. And so we'll see what happens there. Guys, I'm not big on making predictions. I like to report on what has actually happened. So as things start to break with either coaching changes or free agents and players deciding what they want to do, I will certainly bring that to you. I always invite you guys to get in contact with me. I love to answer your questions instead of just telling you what I think may happen. So by far the best way to reach me, if you're not already following me, is to follow me on Twitter at Charlotte Vibe. And hey, if you guys haven't done so, I got quite a few player interviews, one-on-one interviews last week with Graham Gano, Mario Addison, and James Bradbury. I invite you to please check those out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, like, and leave comments below. Looking forward to the 2017 season. I want to thank everybody for their support and watching these videos as you have done all season. Was able to meet quite a few of you guys and look forward to meeting even more in the 2017 season. This is Chris Jenkins signing off for Charlotte Vibe at Bank of America Stadium.